What's scarier than the US potentially having non-human intelligent weapons and crashed UFO crafts? Well, the fact that Russia might also have non-human intelligence weapons of mass destruction and also downed UFO crafts that apparently they are desperate to use. Now, this comes from a podcast clip, and, you know, it's the last podcast on the left, and if disclosure happens, people are going to prison. That's the headline of this segment. So George Knapp was told by a congressional investigator who worked on the black budget many years ago that non-human crash retrieval programs are real, and when it comes out, people are going to go to prison. The Napster also points out the Schumer/Rounds legislation that could help these folks not go to prison and give them an out. Jeremy Corbell also explains that Lockheed Martin tried to divest a craft of unknown origin because they realise they will be in hot water if some of this information comes out officially. Some think that the craft is fully intact and the craft landed in Kingman, Arizona in 1953. This is obviously a talking topic that a lot of people have spoken about recently, but I mean, this is just absolutely mind-boggling stuff, right? It's kind of, well, we haven't even got to the juiciest part yet, and we're going to take a little listen to this first, though. Obviously, we've got George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell, very reputable sources. Jeremy Corbell obviously released the jellyfish footage earlier this year, which did the rounds on social media and got the UFO community kind of buzzing. Let's listen to this, though.
There's also a human element to it. I was told this by a congressional investigator who worked on the black budget many years ago. He says, look, he went out to Area 51. I gave him a briefing, go here and look around. He couldn't find what he was looking for, but he came back convinced it is real. We do have this technology. It's stashed away. And he said to me, look, when this comes out, people are going to go to prison. I think, a long time ago when this cover-up, our government cover-up started, there was probably a legitimate reason. We'd just come out of the World War II. Cold War was beginning. How do we tell the public about this? What do you say? Yeah. So we'll keep it secret. And since then, they've told so many lies to the public, to Congress. There's probably hundreds of millions of dollars from legitimate national security programs that have been absconded and moved into something else without permission. People would go to prison for this if it all came out.
Which is quite a mind-boggling thought, right? You'd think that, with this all being like under lock and key, so to speak, people wouldn't get necessarily in trouble because they're just doing what they're told. But because they've lied to Congress, allegedly, about this, and because they've lied to so many officials about this, allegedly, there could be some serious ramifications, which, again, could hinder full disclosure. That's what we all want at the end of the day. We want to know what's going on. But obviously, people are going to cover their own backs. But the question is, if these people suddenly pass, or, could there be a potential of, well, would they just release it because they've got nothing to lose?
I think that was part of what the Schumer legislation would have done, is given them an out.
An out, like a whistleblower status.
Straight up, Lockheed Martin wanted to divest Lockheed Martin has UFO materials, likely a full UFO. On good sources, we know it to be true. Lockheed Martin tried to divest, take it out the back door, bring it in the front. So some companies realize they're going to be in hot water if this shit comes out. And even the Canadian, one of the Canadian Parliament members, the guy Larry, an MP, he wrote this letter. It's like, we better get ahead of this. If we don't get ahead of this, our nation's not going to trust us. Yeah. So crazy. That's the kind of where we're at, man. This is like easy way or hard way. Hard way is the easy way is they stop lying and give the basics, just like we do about the nuclear programs. Nuclear bombs exist. Yeah. We're not going to give you the schematics how to build them. Same thing needs to happen with the UFO presence, the UFO reality. And if it doesn't, it's going to happen the hard way. And the hard way is going to be leaks and whistleblowers and shit that's uncontrolled.
Oh, yeah. It was catastrophic disclosure.
Yeah, that's a weird term. I don't know what that means. Not that's catastrophic. Just disclose it.
It doesn't matter.
Easy way or hard way.
I mean, it's a fantastic point made there by Jeremy Corbell, and actually he's got a really fair point. Obviously, we all know that nuclear missiles exist, right? They have done for, decades now. But we all know that, Russia's got them, USA's got them, UK's got them, everyone's got them. No one wants to use them because obviously it would just end the world, but they've all got them. And They could just do the same with this kind of material and craft. Yeah, we've got this. But I guess the difference then would be, well, where did it come from? like, obviously, you know, if they suddenly leak nuclear missiles, that's like, well, we know how nuclear energy is created, harvested, you know, and disposed of. But, like, if you suddenly go, yeah, we've got a UFO, then the questions are, where did it come from? How long have you had it for? Why didn't you tell us sooner? There's a lot more to it than I think what Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp are saying on this podcast. But the premise is still the same. Obviously, I'm not saying that that's the reason that they shouldn't disclose, because they absolutely should disclose. The US public and the world deserve to know. But on the same podcast, this scary point was risen. George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell have received information regarding Russia. A Russian UFO crash has been used to develop a weapon that they've been dying to use. This is kind of terrifying, right? Obviously, you know, there's a lot of conflict in the world right now, Ukraine and Russia being one of them. I don't want to get political because it's not my place to, but, you know, we know that Russia is very, how do I put it, hot-headed when it comes to this kind of thing. They like to flex their weaponry, right? They like to be the big dogs when it comes to this kind of thing. USA, I know, like to also have a very similar path. But it's kind of scary to think that they've got crashed UFO that they've converted into weapons that they are dying to use. Let's have a little listen to the clip.
I've heard stories from direct people that Jeremy and I know that a Russian UFO crash had been used to develop a weapon that they'd just been dying to use. I don't think it's like a mass annihilation kind of a weapon, but you see these examples where Russian craft are flying really close to our ships and they come close to knocking down our spy planes, and they're just like begging for us to engage with them so they can unleash this thing. I don't know what that weapon is, but I'm told it's real, that they got it from somewhere else.
All right. Well,
They're in the middle.
I've heard stories.
So, you know, this is obviously is more hearsay than direct sources coming to these people. You know, it's like, I've heard that this is the case. This isn't, I've heard, this is the case, like they were with the previous clip. This is more, you know, this is what I've heard to be the case. This is how it could potentially go down. But, you know, they've apparently got it and they're just dying to use it. They've been coaxing people into trying to engage with them, so they've got an excuse to use this weapon and kind of flaunt it, show it off. Like I say, like they say even in the clip, they don't know what it is. I have no doubt in my mind that based off of the information that we've got about downed craft in the US, they've probably got something similar. But I'm sure other countries around the globe do too. You know, there's potential that the UK could. There's a potential that other countries in Europe could. Germany, France, you know, places like this. Australia, potentially. New Zealand, or I don't know, places anywhere around the globe. China, maybe. But nobody's as vocal about it as America or the American people. Obviously, congressional hearings in the US have kind of come to be. And I believe there's been one set up for September of this year, another congressional hearing, which would be absolutely enormous. But yeah, I mean, when I heard about this, I was like, oh, this could be some serious stuff. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to the hell out of that like button, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.